January 1st, 2013, Ninja Warrior takes off on Roblox with its first competition. Throughout the following years, the competition evolves, establishing staples that would define the community. Over the span of 6 years and counting, thousands of competitors have tackled the various obstacles the community has devised. Countless fails, limited success. This year, 225 competitors will take on 3 excruciating rounds to filter the field to a final 10 competitors who have shown enough skill to face a course of indescribable brutality. Anyone strong enough to conquer the course will win 10,000 Robux and the everlasting title of Grand Champion. This is the Robloxian Ninja Challenge.
The time has finally come. It's the grand finals of Robloxian Ninja Challenge. We started with a field of 225 competitors. Throughout the qualifiers, quarterfinals, and the bootcamp rounds, the number of competitors has been whittled down to a final 10. Our finalists consist of the following: American Roblox YouTube, Andrastical, An Epic Retrogram, Batman Wing 123, Beam Kirby, Bryce Lee, dakTrack, Frosty Mantle, G-Man 992421, and Kailyn F. Now all that's left in the way of these competitors and 10,000 Robux is the hardest challenge they will face yet, the Grand Finals course. This round is composed of 9 intensive obstacles, some of which are brand new, and some of which are buffed versions of previously faced obstacles. The difference between this round and the previous rounds is that in the Grand Finals, if you fall, you're out for good. This is no longer a competition between competitors. It is purely a competition between each individual competitor and the course. Let's look into the obstacles that our competitors will tackle. The first obstacle is the half-pipe jump. Similar to the downhill jump, you must start on a skateboard and slide down these barrels, then jump onto the rope to dismount the safety. The second obstacle is the wing nut, in which you must jump onto each wing nut and gain enough momentum to make it to the next. After you defeat 3 wing nuts, you move on to the balance bridge. The balance bridge is a deceptively easy obstacle in which competitors must balance between 2 tilting pipes, and if you make one small error with your footsteps, you're off. Next up is the double dipper, a grand obstacle for this course in which you must grab onto a bar, slide down the first dipper, make an in-air transition to the second, and land onto the swing to your safety. The fifth obstacle on this course is the deja vu. Competitors start by grabbing a bar, swinging it backwards and landing on the third set of cradles, and then they must grab the second bar on the second set of hurdles and then swing that bar to the dismount. The sixth obstacle is the ultimate cliffhanger, which we've seen in bootcamp, but it's even harder on this course as it's larger and the jumps are further away. In the bootcamp round, only one competitor was able to beat this obstacle, so this may very well be the end of many competitors' runs tonight. We will have to wait and see. For any competitor who's able to make it through the ultimate cliffhanger, they must then scale the hardest warp wall that we've seen in this competition yet. You have one attempt to scale this mammoth tower, and if you're able to do that, the eighth obstacle is the flying bar, in which competitors must grab onto a bar and swing it between 5 sets of horizontal rungs. For those that beat the flying bar, competitors will end their night on the 9th obstacle, the Super Swap Salmon Ladder. This obstacle consists of 5 sets of salmon ladder rungs unlike anything we've ever seen in this competition. For any competitor that's able to endure all 5 sets and make it through with accuracy, they will hit the buzzer and win 10,000 Robux. Now we will begin this grand finals round with our first competitor of the night, dakTrack. It's taken a long journey for this competitor to get here, but dakTrack is at the top of the Grand Finals course. dakTrack remained fairly consistent throughout the first few events of this event, getting 11th in both the qualifiers and the quarterfinals. But eventually, that wasn't enough when he got 12th in the bootcamp round. He had to step it up, and when he needed to, he did, performing well in the second and third bootcamp round. And that got him to where he is today at the Grand Finals course. So now he will begin on our first obstacle, the half-pipe jump, and he goes for it and gets a nice grab and he's through. That's the first obstacle of this course down, 8 more to go. Now the wing nuts is incredibly intense and it takes so much endurance to get through this one. He's swinging on the first one, And again, it takes so much momentum to get to the next one. Look at how enormous these leaps are, but he does it. The first jump is down. He will take his time on this. There's no time limit on this course, so it's crucial that you're as careful as can be, because again, 10,000 Robux is at stake. And he makes it to the last one. Now all it takes is one leap to the dismount to move on to the next obstacle. He's getting good momentum. And a lot of momentum that almost backfired, but he makes it through anyways. Now for the third obstacle, the balance bridge. It tilts, but he's staying on, and he goes right for the second set, and he's through. Now to the fourth obstacle, one of the most daunting ones we have on this entire course, the double dipper. He grabs onto it sideways. He goes down, and he misses! He's down on the double dipper. He can't make the distance to the second dipper. All that time has gone to waste as he is now in the water, and his run in RNC has come to an end. It appears that when dakTrack got to the end of the bar, he didn't use his momentum to make it to the second set, and instead jumped too early and landed in the water. That was a heartbreaking end for dakTrack, but now we must move on to the next competitor, and that will be Batman Wing 123. Batman Wing 123 has had a variety of results in this event. In the qualifier, he started low with a 24th place performance, but in the quarterfinals and bootcamp rounds, he picked it up, getting first place and even second place in some of the runs at bootcamp. Now his final run of this competition is about to begin. As we can see, this course is not forgiving. One mistake like dakTrack made and you're out, but Batman Wing doesn't make a mistake on the first obstacle and he's through to the wing nuts. It looks like he's gotten momentum very fast on this obstacle. Now all it takes is a few more jumps and he's through to the second wing nut. This obstacle serves as the essence for this entire round because it's not about speed, it's all about precision and accuracy as you make perfectly timed jumps to the next wing nut. And Batman Wing is doing just that as he's on to the last one. 45 seconds on the clock. Even though there is no time limit, he's going at a fine pace. Now to the balance bridge. This is not an obstacle you want to end your night on, and he doesn't. Now to the killer of dakTrack, the double dipper. Oh, and he has a shaky start, but he makes it through the obstacles anyways, and he's through onto the Deja Vu. This obstacle is very tricky and odd. It's counterintuitive to go backwards, but he secures the first step. Now onto the last wing to the end. He does it. 120 on the clock, moving on to the ultimate cliffhanger. This is something Batman Wing could not beat in the bootcamp round. Oh, and he almost misses on the second ledge, and he misses again! But he's through to the third ledge now. He's having a very shaky performance, and he misses to the small ledge! It's all over for Batman Wing 123, and he knows it. He's already said good game, and he will not be getting the 10,000 Robux today. Let's look at the replay. Even though he started with some misses on the first few ledges, all it came down was to a lack of precision on this small ledge. It's so hard to make that grass, and he just couldn't do it. We have lost the top performer of the quarterfinals round, but now we move on to the top performer of the qualifier round in Drastical. He waits at the start. And Drastical had a first place performance in the first round in the qualifier, so obviously speed is of his essence. But in the quarterfinals round and bootcamp, he didn't perform to the best of his abilities. Now today is the day for him to make up for his past errors. It's all down to this final run. He's off. Now this half-pipe jump is not as easy as it looks, but he just goes for it and makes it with no problem. 8 seconds on the clock, on to the second obstacle. And even though he rushed through the first obstacle, the wing nuts is obviously not an obstacle you can do the same on. It takes time and patience to make it through this one. But still, he's going at a fast pace. Only 20 seconds and he's halfway through the wing nuts. And he makes another quick transition to the third wing nut. Again, there is no time limit, but I appreciate the speed as he now will move on to the balance bridge. But will he go straight for it, or will he take his time? And he hesitates a little bit, but still goes for it, and now it's on to the double dipper. perfect timing from Indrastical, and he's easily through that obstacle. Now for the Deja Vu. This obstacle is not a linear one. You can't just rush to the end. And he misses the jump, and he's down on the Deja Vu. That's devastating from Indrastical, and he is out of this event. What a shocking performance. It looks like he tried to jump way too high on that bar. As you can tell, he just overshot it by a long shot and landed in the water. He just could not make it into the cradle. That's 3 competitors down and 7 left to go. Next up is Bryce Lee. Bryce Lee certainly has had his ups and downs in this competition. In the first round of RNC, Bryce did very well, scoring a 4th place performance, but in the quarterfinals, he snagged the last spot. In the first 2 rounds of boot camp, he got 1st and 2nd, but in day 3, he underperformed. So the question is, will he do very well today or very poorly? It's time to find out. He begins. We haven't seen much trouble on this first obstacle, as we saw Indrastical run through it. But he gets a very low grab, and he's on the barrel. Can he make it to the end? It looks like he knows it's over. He's stuck on it, and he's just gonna fall through. An instant for Bryce Lee and sheer panic. I can't believe that just happened. I don't even know how to commentate on that. Let's look at the replay. It looks like he just jumped way too late, got a very low grab, and then he landed on the barrel. He missed the jump onto the platform, and by then he knew it was over, and it was just the wait until he landed into the water. A tragic end for Bryce Lee. But now we move on to Beam Kirby. Beam Kirby started his run in RNC in the middle of the pack, but around the end he really started to prove that he was meant to be here. On average, Beam actually had one of the best performances in boot camp, so will he use his momentum from the last few rounds of boot camp on this course? Now it must be horrifying to run directly after Bryce Lee as he failed the first obstacle, so will it get to him? Now he starts it. Now will he get a higher grab? He does, and it looks like he's on to the next obstacle. Now Beam quite honestly blends in with this obstacle, but it's not deterring him. And he's using a very odd and inefficient strategy as he's actually moving his body on the obstacle itself. This way he's not getting as much surface area on the wing nut itself, so it's hard to actually swing it as much, and I don't know what his motive is here. Yeah, as you can see, he's just turning his character left and right, which is not going to get him anywhere. I mean, it got him to the second wing nut, and he is getting momentum, just not as fast as he could be. And he's taking a lot of time to build it up, and he makes it to the third one. He's very close to the end, 1 minute and 15 seconds into his run. And he's waiting to go for it. Although there is no time limit, you don't want to waste all your strength early on, but still, he's through this obstacle. And he's jumping on the first one. He uses a jumping strategy, and it works for him. Now onto the double dipper. Goes for it. Good jump. Oh! And he overshoots the second set. What was that, Beam Kirby? As you can tell, he is in disbelief at what just happened. Let's look at the replay. As you can see, he got perfect distance, but just overshot the second set. He got ahead of himself, and as soon as it was over, he knew it. Next up, we have a competitor who isn't only at the top of this event, but is also one of the best competitors in the entire community. This is an epic Reshiram.
Hey guys, it's an Epic here, and I made the grand finale. Don't ask me how I did, I have no idea. But I am in here, and I'm hoping I'm gonna do well, but if I'm being honest here, I do not really think I'm going to get far. Or it's like, I hate the downhill jump or whatever it's called, and the cliffhanger, it's going to kill me. If I do somehow manage to do it, well then I guess good job to me, but I don't have all too high hopes for myself, but who knows what can happen. Anything can happen. I somehow made it to the finals in Ninja Warrior Roblox 21. So
An Epic Retrogram has been a fan favorite throughout this competition. An Epic Retrogram has performed consistently in this competition, with the exception of one round, which was the second day of boot camp, in which he got the 14th out of 15th runs, and for that, he paid as he had to race on the speed tower to keep his spot in this competition. Fortunately, he's here today because he beat Free MMO Direct and Precious Power Ranger in the process. Unfortunately for him, track records will do nothing in the final round of Robloxian Ninja Challenge. It all comes down to whether you beat the obstacles or not. And now he's on the half-pipe jump. A little shaky start, but he gets a perfect grab onto the rope itself. And now for the second obstacle, the wing nuts. Very slow start as he tries to swing the first one. Now, as I've said before, you don't want to be too slow on this obstacle, because after this one, there are 7 other obstacles ahead of you. But he makes it to the second one. He really is struggling to get these wing nuts moving as fast as he can. It must be nauseating at this point, going back and forth. And he's on to the last one. He's finally getting it going. And it looks like he's getting to the point where he can dismount. He might want a couple more swings in there. And it looks like he does it. Okay, very good. 1 minute and 30 on the clock. He wasted a lot of time on that obstacle. And he's straight through the balance bridge. Very good. Now we move on to the fourth obstacle, which has claimed 2 competitors in this entire event. And it looks like he's through no problem. Very good through the double dipper. And now for the deja vu. Now, just a few runs ago, we saw this obstacle take down Andrastical, and he struggles a little bit getting it off, and he almost overshoots it, but he gets it in the cradle after all. And now all it takes is one more transition, and he gets through it no problem. And now he's on to the ultimate cliffhanger. He's only the second today to make it here after Batman Wing 123, who missed the small ledge. And he says he's making the most out of these last few moments because he is dead here. Well, we will see about that. Hopefully not, because 10,000 Robux again is at stake. And he is 3 minutes into the run. And it looks like he's trying to get a good grip on these ledges. He makes it to the second, very close to the edge. Dangerously close, if you will. But he gets through it anyways. And now for the small jump. This one is so hard, and he does it! He's through the ultimate cliffhanger! 3 minutes and 20 seconds into the run, he's surprised as much as I am. I didn't know if we were going to see a single person beat that obstacle, and he did not expect that at all, but he must proceed with his run. He's now into the warped wall. He has 1 attempt on this obstacle. And he's more concerned about talking to the audience than he is beating the course. Now he's finally onto the obstacle. Again, you get 1 attempt on it, and it's crucial that you beat it, and he did. Now he's on to the flying bar. 4 minutes into the run, you have to be absolutely exhausted at this point, and he's going to take some more time before he mounts onto the obstacle. Just 2 more left to go. He questions whether he's a #1 competitor, and he is so far. But it doesn't matter if you can't beat these last 2 obstacles. And he begins. This obstacle is probably one of the hardest we have in this entire competition because it's so easy to slip up by either overshooting or undershooting, but he's on to the 3rd set. He's just 2 sets of rungs to go. And he makes it to the 4th. He could actually beat the flying bar right here. Can he make it to the last set? He's waiting patiently, and he goes for it. No! He overshoots the final set. He was inches away from beating the flying bar, and he's out on the second to last obstacle at the very end. Look at that entire run. He was schooling this course, and he was doing absolutely fantastic, but it all came down to just mere inches, as the left side of his bar did not make it onto the final set of rungs. And an Epic Retrogram will not win the 10,000 Robux.
I started to ease up a little bit because, beating the cliffhanger and all. I think I might have just miscalculated the jump just a little bit, but what happens happens, and I can't be mad about my fail. I can't believe I made it past the cliffhanger.
Now, one of our final competitors to run is American Roblox YouTube. This competitor is a wild card if I've ever seen one in this event. He has steadily improved over the course of this competition, starting out with a 15th place performance, then 13th, then 6th, 9th, and finally a 3rd place performance in the bootcamp round. He was the only person on his team to get above 10th place in that round. And he's about to begin. And he is off. Now, it's important to note that out of the 10 competitors, 6 have failed, and no one has gotten close to the end. The furthest competitor just ran. It was an epic Retrogram who failed the flying bar. Now, the question is, can American Roblox YouTube push that mark any further? Fortunately, American hasn't made any mistakes early on, and we know anywhere on this course can get competitors, as we saw with Bryce's run. American's actually going significantly faster than anyone else we've seen today, 30 seconds onto the 3rd obstacle. And that efficient pace is going to help him keep his energy for the later obstacles. Now to the Double Dipper. And he does it! He's through the 4th obstacle of this course and now onto Deja Vu. We see Andrastical mess up this transition. Let's see if American can do it. And he's stuck! But he makes it anyways! And now he's onto the middle portion of the Deja Vu, and all it takes is one swing to dismount, and he does it. 1 minute on the clock, now moving on to the ultimate cliffhanger. I said this before, but this is one of the hardest obstacles of this entire course, and he slips up, but he survives, and now he's on the 3rd ledge. Okay, now for the hardest jump of this obstacle, and he does it! And he completes the ultimate cliffhanger. What an incredible run out of the wildcard competitor, now onto the warp wall. He has 1 attempt, and he does it under 1.5 minutes on the clock. American Roblox YouTube is absolutely ripping through this course. I'm at a loss of words as he moves on to the flying bar. He's on to the 2nd, and he's on to the 3rd. He's having no problem through this, but we did see an epic Retrogram fail at the end of this obstacle. It takes so much precision to beat this, and now all it takes is 1 more jump, and it looks like he's stuck it! And he's done it! This unassuming competitor is 1 obstacle away from 10,000 Robux. And that implies he has to get out 5 sets of salmon ladders, and he's begun. No problems through the 1st set, it looks like, and now for the 1st transfer. And no, he misses! And he's down on the Super Swap Salmon Ladder right at the end of the competition. American Roblox YouTube is out. We must see that again. What an astonishing run from this competitor. No one saw it coming. He was performing amazingly. And he made it through the flying bar, which no one else today has done so far. And then right on the 1st transfer on the Salmon Ladder, he doesn't turn around fast enough, and because of that, he can't get his bar on the cradles, and he falls into the water. So his day is done. Now that American Roblox YouTube is eliminated, we have our 3 final competitors, starting with G-Man992421. G-Man has been a top performer in this entire competition. Well, he started out in the middle of the pack, getting 13th in the qualifier. He got 3rd place in the quarterfinals, allowing him to be a bootcamp captain. In bootcamp, he beat out 2 other competitors, including dakTrack, who was also a captain. So now that he took the fall for dakTrack and secured a spot here alongside his, it's up to G-Man to make the most of his opportunity on this grand finals course. And he starts off strong with a good performance through the 1st obstacle, and now into the wing nuts. Our last competitor, American Roblox YouTube, ripped through the wing nut, and he completed the entire obstacle in, I believe, under half a minute. But G-Man is taking his time a bit more than American, and hopefully that will pay off. He's now to the 2nd set. Now, I've said it before, but again, G-Man has been a top performer in this series, so I expect him to make it far today. And he's now into the final wing nut, about 45 seconds on the clock, going for the dismount. He's gaining momentum for a final swing, and he does it. Now he is onto the balance bridge, about a minute on the clock. doing the slow and steady, and oh my god, he falls off! And he's lost on the balance bridge! I was not expecting that at all, and he seems to be as shocked as I am. Of any obstacle to end your run in this competition on, I must see what happens. Yet, it looks like he just slipped off the left side of that barrel and landed face first in the foam. And G-Man 992421 is done with this competition.
In practice, I never failed this obstacle at all. I had a game plan down, but I feel like I just rushed into it and went a little bit too much to the left. I mean, I can't be too upset about this. I made grand finals, which is awesome, but like I wanted to get the rest of the course. That double dipper looked really fun.
Our second to last competitor in this event is Kailyn F.
Oh my god, who is that creature in the distance? Well, it happens to be the Kailyn F. And he's here to show everyone why he's in the R&D finals. Look at him beating at the quintuple steps, indubitably, and the downhill slider jump thingy. Wow, he may have failed this obstacle, but it's okay. Here's some footage of him completing the obstacle he didn't get to do. Here I am. My name is Kailyn F. These other 9 competitors don't know what hit them as I survived boot camp and other things. I got this, guys.
As you can tell by Kailyn's beautiful words, he's one of the biggest characters of this event. Kailyn has had a variety of performances. He got second place in the qualifier, but since then he's been around the middle of the pack, and he even survived the speed tower on the first day of boot camp, beating out Jakey. And now he's in the grand finals of Robloxian Ninja Challenge. And he starts. By now, we've seen just about every obstacle claim a competitor in this event, and Kailyn isn't going to be claimed by the half-pipe jump. Now he's onto the wing nuts. Now what we've seen from this obstacle is that, while it hasn't claimed any competitor yet, it has wasted the time of many, which eventually will take up the energy that these competitors have later in the run. But Kailyn is making quick work through that first wing nut, and now he's onto the halfway point of this obstacle. 35 seconds on the clock as he readies himself for the next transition. And he makes the transition. Now Kailyn just saw his team captain from boot camp run, and he failed the balance bridge, so it must be in his head as he prepares to take on the next obstacle, but first he has to make the dismount on the wing nuts. And he does so just under 1 minute on the clock. Now he's preparing himself. It's so easy to make a simple mistake on this. Just put your foot in the wrong place and you'll fall. And he goes for it, and a little short on the second one, but he makes it through anyways. We won't see a second person fail on the balance bridge yet. Now for the double dipper, and he's going sideways, and he makes the transition no problem. Now for the deja vu. He's taking this course slow and steady. And let's see if he can make the transition, and he does with no problem. It's actually a very seamless attempt from Kailyn F. And he has no problem with the dismount. Now 1 minute and 45 seconds on the clock onto the ultimate cliffhanger. He begins his attempt. It's so easy to make a small mistake and lose your grip on the cliffhanger, and he almost falls off the side of the second ledge, but he's now into the third. Now he must collect himself for this small, tiny jump. And he makes a leap and he sticks it! And he's through! Another one is through the ultimate cliffhanger! What an amazing performance, and it looks like it's getting to him. Kailyn is surprised as he's beaten it, and now he has 3 obstacles ahead of him. Now for the warped wall. And he does it again. 2 obstacles are left. Will Kailyn be able to beat the flying bar, unlike an epic Retrogram, and join American on the Super Swap Salmon Ladder? Yeah, Kailyn's acknowledging that the next 2 obstacles are excruciatingly hard, and he makes it to the second set and to the third. He's going very fast on this obstacle, now for the last set, and he overshoots it! And he's down at the end! Just like an epic Retrogram! Another one loses on the flying bar! What has happened? Well, he's happy with his own performance, and as you can see, he absolutely demolished the course up until the end. He did everything with accuracy and precision, right up until he overshot the last rung on the flying bar and fell in the water. So Kailyn F will not be winning the 10,000 Robux, and that leaves us with one competitor left.
Well, I feel like the pressure got the best of me in the end, and I forgot the common sense thing called letting go of the W key. But yeah, it was my grips lost their strength, and I couldn't go any further.
Now we have one competitor left in this competition. It's Frosty Mantle.
Hello, I'm Frosty Mantle, and going into the grand finals, I feel pretty confident. In the first and third rounds, I barely scraped by, getting into the lower placements. But in the second round, I did pretty well, beating the course and obtaining 5th place overall. I hope I can repeat my success in the second round and end up clearing in the grand finals. The 2 obstacles I struggle on the most are the Double Dipper and the Ultimate Cliffhanger. I believe that if I can pass these 2 obstacles, I can possibly win it all. I wish all my fellow contestants good luck, and I'm crossing my fingers for the best.
In a way, it's kind of remarkable that Frosty Mantle is here at all. In the qualifier, Frosty Mantle got the 3rd to last spot into the second round, but since then, she's proved that she's belonged in this competition. She was a top performer in the quarterfinals and did well in boot camp. And now she has one course ahead of her, the grand finals of Robloxian Ninja Challenge. And her time is about to begin. One final run for this competition, and no one has claimed the 10,000 Robux prize. Can Frosty Mantle be the one, or will she fall short? She's made quick work through the first obstacle and now to the wing nuts with 15 seconds on the clock approximately. She's taking her time getting momentum. And she makes the transition to the second wing nut. Any small mistake can end this competition as a whole with no victor. So it's all on Frosty Mantle's shoulders. Frosty Mantle has one transition left to complete the wing nuts. She's taking her time, but it looks like she has enough momentum, and she's completed the obstacle with 1 minute and 6 seconds on the clock. And now for the balance bridge, she goes for it and she completes it. She takes nearly no pause onto the double dipper. It's a little crooked, but she makes it to the second set, and she's through. Now we can take a deep breath as the tempo slows down for the deja vu. And she makes it. Actually almost falls up short, but it's fine. A very precise jump from Frosty Mantle. And can she do the dismount? She does. And now for one of the deadliest obstacles this entire competition has to offer, the Ultimate Cliffhanger. It's amazing how many competitors have beaten it in this grand finals course, considering 1 out of 15 beat it in the boot camp, but Frosty almost comes up short on the second ledge, and now for the small jump, and she sticks it, and that's another competitor through the Ultimate Cliffhanger, 2 minutes on the clock. And now Frosty Mantle takes on the warped wall. She can get revenge on this obstacle after it claimed her in the qualifier, and she does. One shot through that obstacle, and now there are 2 obstacles remaining for Frosty Mantle, starting with the flying bar. We just saw this take out Kailyn F alongside an epic Retrogram earlier in the episode, and she's preparing herself for the jump. She gets the first one. You have to be incredibly precise on this obstacle, not to go too far to the left or the right, or to under or overshoot, but Frosty Mantle has done it so far. Now for the 4th rungs, and now for the final set of rungs, this jump alone has gotten 2 competitors, and she sticks it. And can she make the dismount? She does! She is the 2nd competitor to make it to the Super Swap Salmon ladder, right behind American Roblox YouTube. But what may be different is that while American fell early on this obstacle, Frosty Mantle could be the one to make it to the top of the tower. Now she's starting her ascent of this obstacle. She's made it up the first set, and now for the transition that took out American. And she does it! Onto the first rung of the second set. You can tell how nervous she must be. The bar is shaking. All she has to do is make it up these 5 sets, and she takes home the grand prize of this event. But if not, she will leave with nothing. And now for the second transition, and she's through. In the middle of the third set, 2 sets remain after this. She's made it up the third set. Can she make it to the fourth set? She does! She's so close! The buzzer is in sight at this point. And she makes it to the top. Now for the last transition before the final set. And she misses! She's down! It's all over the competition. It's come to an end. Frosty Mantle makes it inches away from the buzzer and the grand prize, but she will leave with nothing as she fails on the final set of the Super Swap Salmon Ladder. I could not imagine what's going through her mind at this point, but either way, it was an incredible performance from this competitor. Let's look into the replay of her incredible run. Even though Frosty isn't coming home with a 10,000 Robux prize, she will still get the best performance of this entire competition. As you can see, she made it so close to the buzzer, it was right ahead of her, but on the last transition, she just undershot the final set of the Super Swap Salmon Ladder, and that one mistake alone ended this competition as a whole. 2 years ago, in November 2018, this competition began with a field of 225 competitors. And nearly 2 years later, around the end of the year of 2020, we end this competition with 10 competitors who all come short of the 10,000 Robux prize. Frosty Mantle, however, came the closest of all, making it to the end of the Super Swap Salmon Ladder, with American Roblox YouTube taking second place and Kailyn F taking third. Thank you again to the 225 competitors and everyone who has stuck along with us for the past couple of years. For one final time, I'm Aussie Bro signing off. Good night.